All right, Eagles fans, buckle up because we got a big one to talk about today. The Philadelphia Eagles just pulled off another classic Howie Roseman special. And honestly, this move says so much about what kind of organization the Eagles have become over the last few years. The trade is officially in the books. The Eagles are getting slot corner Michael Carter, the second from the New York Jets, in exchange for wide receiver John Mechie and a swap of late-round picks in the 2027 draft. Simple on the surface, right? But as always with Philly, the story behind the move tells us way more about how this front office operates, what the coaching staff values, and how serious they are about staying on top of the NFL mountain. Now let's break down why this deal even makes sense in the first place. The Eagles, as we all know, have been off to another strong start this season. 6 wins and just 2 losses so far, coming off 2 straight games that look like a team clicking in all 3 phases: offense, defense, and special teams. And when you're the reigning Super Bowl champions and you still look hungry, players notice. Coaches around the league notice. Other teams start to see you as a model franchise. There's a reason players want to come here, and this is the perfect example of that. Michael Carter didn't just agree to join the Eagles. He literally gave up $5 million in guaranteed money just to make it happen. That's how badly he wanted to wear midnight green and join this defense. Think about that for a second. That's not just about football, that's about culture. That's about wanting to be part of something special, and right now, that's exactly what the Eagles have built. So let's talk about who Carter is and why this trade matters. He's a pure slot corner, through and through. He's been used in that role basically his entire career. The guy has played over 85% of his total defensive snaps lined up inside, not outside. He's fast, he's reactive, he reads plays quickly, and he fits perfectly into what the Eagles like to do on defense. At 5'10" and about 184 pounds, he's not the biggest corner out there, but he makes up for it with quick feet and smart anticipation. Back in his draft process, he ran a blazing 4.36 40-yard dash. And you know Howie Roseman loves corners who can move. Since entering the league, he's racked up over 65 career games, more than 24 starts. And he's proven to be a guy who can read routes mid-play, read the quarterback's eyes, and make plays on the ball. That kind of football IQ is something the Eagles really prioritize in their secondary. Let's not forget, the team has been trying to balance out its corner rotation all season. Quinn Mitchell has locked down one outside spot. Cooper Dean, who's been a do-it-all defensive back, has started taking more reps on the perimeter lately. But if you've been watching closely, you know the Eagles were thin in the slot behind him. They tried mixing things up, and McWilliams got some reps inside. Perry Nickerson bounced between practice squad and main roster, and Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo are better suited for the outside. There just wasn't a reliable second option in the nickel spot. And that's where this trade makes sense. Carter brings legitimate starting experience at a position where depth was lacking. Now some people might look at Carter's recent numbers and wonder what's the big deal. This year with the Jets, his stats didn't exactly jump off the page. A couple of pass breakups, modest PFF grades, and some missed time due to a concussion. But that's not the full picture. The Jets' defense has gone through scheme changes, new coaching voices, and a completely different approach from what Carter was used to. Sometimes, players just need a change of scenery. And when you go from a rebuilding team to a championship-caliber roster, that kind of environment can completely reignite your fire. It happens all the time in sports. A talented player finds new life when he joins a stable, winning team. The Eagles are banking on that being the case here. And there's another layer to this, the front office connection. The Jets' former general manager, Joe Douglas, used to work under Howie Roseman in Philadelphia. He was part of the scouting department that helped identify players like Carter back when he was coming out of Duke. So you know there's a lot of mutual familiarity there. Roseman trusts Douglas's eye for talent. And once Douglas was out of New York, the Eagles had a chance to swoop in and bring Carter home. That's how the best GMs operate. They keep tabs on guys they like during the draft, they wait for the right opportunity, and then they make their move when the value lines up. Speaking of value, let's put this trade in perspective. The Eagles gave up John Mechie, who, to be honest, hasn't had much of a role this season. He's caught only a few passes for minimal yardage. Meanwhile, Darius Cooper has jumped ahead of him on the depth chart, and the wide receiver rotation is already crowded with Devonta Smith A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert in the passing mix, and now SAQUON Barkley getting more touches out of the backfield. There just wasn't much room left for Messi to make an impact. So if you can turn that kind of depth piece into a proven defensive back under contract through 2027, that's a massive win. That's Howie Roseman doing what he does best, flipping assets that aren't producing into players who fill immediate needs. And let's not ignore the ripple effect this move might create. The Eagles now have more flexibility heading into the next phase of the season and possibly the trade deadline. Adding Carter strengthens the secondary, but it also means Howie could pivot to other positions of need, maybe even look at adding another pass rusher or interior lineman without worrying about the cornerback depth. You can't overstate how important that is in the long grind of an NFL season. Injuries happen, matchups change, and having options allows you to stay ahead of the curve instead of reacting in panic later. Now, one interesting thing to watch will be what this means for Cooper Dean's role moving forward. He's been fantastic in the slot, but we've seen him start to take more snaps outside recently, especially in matchups where his physicality gives him an edge. The coaching staff, led by Vic Fangio, has already hinted at experimenting with that alignment more often. Fangio even said earlier this week that it's easier to find a slot corner than an outside guy, which could be a subtle clue about where this defense is heading. With Carter now in a mix, maybe Dean transitions more permanently to the outside, giving the Eagles a trio of Mitchell, Dean, and Carter that covers every type of receiver they'll face. What makes this move even more classic Roseman is the contract angle. Carter's deal runs through 2027 and comes at a very reasonable cap number. Plus, by restructuring to remove that injury guarantee, he made it even friendlier for Philly's books. That's the kind of attention to detail that keeps the Eagles competitive year after year. They don't just chase stars. They build rosters that make financial sense and fit the team's culture. And culture might be the biggest part of this whole thing. Every move they make seems to reflect the same philosophy. Find talented, team-first players who buy into what the Eagles are building. From top to bottom, that culture starts with ownership and filters down through the locker room. Jeffrey Lurie has set a tone for stability and innovation. Roseman is constantly adapting, never afraid to take calculated risks. Sirianni and the coaching staff know how to get players to buy in and perform. That combination is rare in the NFL, and it's why Philly has become such an attractive landing spot for veterans and young players alike. You don't sacrifice $5 million in guaranteed money unless you genuinely believe you're walking into something special. And if you think about it from Carter's perspective, it makes perfect sense. You go from a struggling Jets team trying to find its footing to the defending champs who are already off to another hot start. You step into a defense that's loaded with talent at every level. Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis up front, Hasten Reddick wreaking havoc off the edge, and a secondary that now looks even more complete with you in the mix. You're surrounded by winners, by experienced veterans who know how to prepare and execute. That kind of environment brings out the best in players. It's not just about X's and O's. It's about walking into a locker room where the standard is championship level every single day. When you start to really look at the layers of this move, it becomes clear that it's not just about adding another body to the defense. It's about precision, about how every piece on this Eagles roster is chosen to fit a larger picture. Michael Carter brings experience, versatility, and a mentality that perfectly matches what this team is built on. He's not coming here to simply fill in. He's coming to compete, to push everyone in that cornerback room, and to make sure that if injuries or fatigue hit late in the season, this defense doesn't miss a beat. That's what separates good teams from great ones. The great ones build depth before they need it. Looking at Carter's career, he's been molded for this exact type of opportunity. He played his college ball at Duke, not exactly known as a football powerhouse, but he made a name for himself through consistency and intelligence. He was a fifth-round pick in the 2021 draft and quickly earned the respect of his teammates and coaches in New York. Over the years, he's lined up in different defensive looks, mostly inside, where the action is quick and decisions have to be made in fractions of a second. You can't fake instincts in that position. Either you have them or you don't. And Carter's film shows that he absolutely does. He reads route combinations before they fully develop. He baits quarterbacks into throws he knows he can undercut. He's the type of player who doesn't need to rely solely on athleticism, which is why he's managed to stay relevant even in systems that weren't built around his strengths. For Philadelphia, that awareness is gold. In Vic Fangio's defense, the slot corner is not just covering quick routes or blitzing off the edge. He's a hybrid piece, almost like a small linebacker and a safety rolled into one. The role demands physicality in the run game, quick recognition of motion plays, and the ability to disguise coverages. Carter checks those boxes. His tackling numbers and his ability to blow up screens and short passes show he's not afraid to get physical, even against bigger opponents. That's something the Eagles value deeply because this defense thrives on versatility. You have linebackers who can drop into coverage, safeties who can play up near the line, and now a slot corner who understands how to navigate that gray area between them. It also says a lot about the kind of locker room Philly has built that players are willing to make financial sacrifices just to be there. Carter's decision to give up that injury guarantee wasn't a small one. $5 million is a serious chunk of money, but that gesture speaks volumes about his belief in what's happening here. When you have players sacrificing for the collective good, that energy spreads. It's contagious. It makes everyone in the building raise their standard because now you're playing next to guys who are all in. And when you have that kind of chemistry, it shows up on Sundays. It's why even when this team loses, you never see them pointing fingers or collapsing internally. There's accountability, trust, and a shared hunger to win. Now, what makes this deal even more fascinating is how it could reshape the Eagles' secondary moving forward. Cooper Dean, who's been nothing short of a revelation since joining the team, now has more flexibility in how he's deployed. Fangio mentioned earlier this week that they've talked about giving Dean more time outside, and this move makes that possible. Dean's skill set is unique. He's physical enough to press big receivers at the line, but quick enough to handle shifty slot guys. He's also an elite tackler and has proven that he can blitz effectively. So moving him outside doesn't necessarily weaken the defense. It might actually unlock new combinations and disguise packages that opposing offenses won't be ready for. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. A shocking rumor has begun to swirl around the NFL, and it's already sending waves through Philadelphia. According to sources close to the team, Eagles star running back SAQUON Barkley reportedly made a bold, if not outright explosive, statement. If he comes back, I'm out of the Eagles. The comment, which is yet to be fully clarified or confirmed in an official capacity, is fueling speculation about possible locker room tensions and what it could mean for the team's future. Barkley, one of the league's premier backs, has always been known for his competitive fire and passion for the game. But suggesting that his own career in Philadelphia could hinge on the presence or return of another player hints at more than just casual rivalry. Fans and analysts alike are scrambling to decipher exactly who Barkley might be referring to. Is it a former teammate making a comeback, or perhaps a high-profile acquisition rumored to be targeting the Eagles? The possibilities are fueling fevered debates on sports radio, Twitter, and in bars across the city. The Eagles management has remained tight-lipped, neither confirming nor denying the report. Inside sources suggest that the team is aware of Barkley's comment and may be preparing for a delicate conversation with the running back. While the NFL is no stranger to locker room drama, the idea that a star player could threaten departure over another's return is rare and potentially disruptive, especially as the season approaches. This rumor also raises questions about team dynamics, strategy, and morale. Barkley has been a cornerstone of the Eagles' offense, and any departure could drastically alter the team's trajectory. Meanwhile, speculation about the mystery player continues to grow, with fans scouring past rosters, trade rumors, and even social media hints for clues. Analysts point out that if Barkley's comment is serious, the Eagles might have to make quick decisions to either appease him or brace for a significant shakeup. As the NFL world watches closely, one thing is clear. Philadelphia is suddenly the epicenter of one of the league's most tantalizing what-ifs. Will Barkley stay? Who is the player that could push him out? For now, The answers remain elusive, but the buzz isn't going away anytime soon. One thing's for sure, the Eagles' locker room just got a lot more interesting, and every fan in the city is holding their breath. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.